Hey guys, I'm Hunter with Oat Oaks Outdoors, and today we're going to talk everything frog fishing. It's getting that time of year. We're in the spring. Bass are starting to push up shallow. One of my favorite ways to catch them this time of year when they're pushing up to spawn is with the topwater frog. You can do a lot with frog. You can throw them in open water, thick mats, lily pads, grass. You can skip them underneath docks and laydowns. For open water, I love a popping frog. This time of year, I can keep it in a strike zone much longer than I can a walking frog, and I can sit there and walk it right in place and let it set for a long period of time to draw those big females up that are pushing up there to spawn. And a popping frog, traditionally, I'm throwing it over laydowns or sparse grass, not super thick cover. And then whenever I get in those thicker lily pads and thicker mats, that's when I go to a walking frog. Something like a KVD Sexy Frog or a Spro Frog. Those are a couple of my favorite walking frogs. And then a couple of my favorite popping frogs is a Googan frog. And then I also love a 6 Sense Vega frog. But if I had to pick one frog to do everything with, it'd be a 6 Sense Vega frog. I can throw it through grass, mats, thick lily pads, heavy vegetation. I can still bring this 6 Sense Vega frog through because of the way the lip on them is designed. I can still throw it right through all that stuff and not have to pick up another rod with a different frog. And you can cover a lot of water. Rod, reel setup, and line setup. Always braid, 55 to 65 pound test braid. I like canine braid or Seagars, what I typically use for my braid. Rod, I like a 7'3" heavy action rod with a fast tip. You can still launch the frog a long ways with that rod length. Fast tip, you can really walk the frogs well. I can skip it up underneath docks, overhangs. That is my favorite length for a frog rod. Reel setup, on this particular rod here, I got an Abu Garcia Revo X 7:3:1 gear ratio. A lot of times I'll even have an 8:1 gear ratio. You want a fast reel so you can catch up to those fish when they explode up on it and get them out of the grass. I like the 7:3:1 a little bit better when I'm in open water situations and very light cover. And as I get in the thicker cover, I go to a faster gear ratio so I can catch up to them quick out of the thick cover. And with almost all my frogs, whenever I tie them on, first thing I do is trim up. If you don't trim up the skirts, a lot of times what will happen is they'll come up and blow up on it, but they'll just get your skirts and not actually get the hooks in their mouth. So when you trim them up, it gives them a little bit smaller of a profile, get them hooks. Another thing I do is I bend the hooks up just a little bit to give myself a better hookup. Colors, there's a lot of different frog colors out there and styles. I like a bluegill color frog, imitate bluegill and shad, because most of the time that's what bass think they're blowing up on anyways. And I like something with a white belly a lot of the times. And on real darker cloudy days, I go to a black frog, solid black. Something like this Gillikin color represents a bluegill real well from 6 Sense. And then I have some of your natural looking frogs as well. But primarily the two frogs I'm throwing is one that represents a bluegill and one that represents a shad. They're all black. Those are probably my 3 top frog colors that I keep in my box. From here on, frog fishing can be great during the summertime when they tuck back underneath those mats and stuff in shade. So you can do a lot of different things. There's a lot of different styles with a frog. Hopefully this video helps you guys out this spring.